Namaskar. I'm Rudra Kafle from Worcester, Massachusetts. So today we are going to do a new episode of Physics is Fun, which is episode 9. In today's episode, what I am doing is I am taking you to a virtual world. We are already virtually connected in Facebook Live. So in this today's Physics is Fun episode, what I am planning to do is I am planning to show some virtual environment which can be applied in physics, that is simulations. Okay, so before I do simulation, before I start that, I would like to do a small simple demonstration. Okay, so I have a ball in my hand, right? So when I let it go, it falls vertically down, and we have already learned about that, right? That is because of gravity. The earth pulls down, right? So if I let it go, so it falls down, right? In the beginning, its velocity is 0, right? Afterwards, every second, its velocity increases at the rate of 9.80 meter per second. And 9.80 meter per second squared is called acceleration due to gravity. At that rate, any object around the earth falls towards the earth, right? Why? Because earth pulls the object, right? So this object is being pulled by earth's gravity, right? So from F equal to ma, right, we know that equation. F is the force, m is the mass of the object, a is acceleration due to gravity. Sorry, a is acceleration. So a is acceleration, so F equal to ma. So in that equation, right, if you divide the force by mass, force is nothing but the weight of this object, mass of this object, then you will get actually, when the object is falling down, you will get that number to be 9.8 meter per second square. So that is the acceleration due to gravity. So let me repeat one more time. We are learning applications of Newton's laws of motion. So F equal to ma is a form of Newton's second law of motion, right? So this is a free fall, right? When the object is I let the object go, so it falls freely, right? Except there is a small amount of air resistance. So air resistance is very small on smaller objects, right? So we neglect that air resistance in general, not all the time. Okay, so instead of letting the object fall freely, right? So this way, if I project the object horizontally like this, what happens that, like if I project the object, if I throw the object horizontally like this, right? So what happens? The object moves this way because I give the velocity in horizontal direction like this, right? I give a velocity to this ball in horizontal direction like this, right? So it starts off with horizontal velocity because I am throwing this in horizontal direction, right? So at the beginning, its vertical component of velocity is 0, right? But what happens when it starts moving in horizontal direction? So now it starts experiencing a force. That is the force of gravity, right? So gravity pulls this object ball vertically downward, and there is no force in the horizontal direction. So what happens is that this object now starts falling down with a different velocity, different from 0. In the beginning, I gave 0 velocity in the vertical direction. All the velocity was in horizontal direction, right? I threw the object in horizontal direction, right? So then what happens that there is since there is acceleration due to gravity in vertical direction, right? It starts accelerating down, but with the same initial velocity at all time, it also goes in horizontal direction, right? So it follows a special kind of path, right? In geometrically, that is a parabolic path, right? So it follows this kind of path, right? Starts and then it starts horizontally with some given velocity, right? It starts horizontally and slowly it starts curving downward and finally it hits the ground. Okay, so this kind of motion is called projectile motion. Okay, this kind of motion is called projectile motion. So what is projectile motion? Right, it is the motion of an object, right? Projectile motion, it is the motion of an object in gravitational field. When you give some initial velocity, then afterwards it falls only under the effect of one force, that is gravity, if you neglect a small amount of air resistance. Of course, there is air resistance, there is a drag force too, if the object is large, or if the object is specially shaped like a parachute, like an umbrella, right? Like an umbrella, right? So they have a special shape, they have special kind of shapes, so they will have significant amount of air drag. For example, even in airplane, okay? So a projectile is an object thrown in space or thrown in air, right? Afterwards, when you just throw, afterwards, what happens? It moves only under the effect of gravity, right? So in that kind of motion, the path, the trajectory, the path followed by the projectile is parabolic. Okay, it is a parabola. It is a kind of geometric curve. Okay, it is a parabola. Okay, so now let me give some additional information, right? So if I throw the object vertically upward, right? So if I throw the object vertically upward, what happens? It goes up and comes down, right? If I increase the velocity further, it goes up and comes down. If I increase the velocity furthermore, it goes to higher height, more height, and comes back, right? But if I can give velocity of this object about 11,200 meter per second or 11.2 kilometer per second, this object will escape the Earth's gravity. And that is what is called escape velocity of the Earth. Okay? Okay, that is what is called the escape velocity of the Earth. If any object is to be launched to space so that it will never come back, so it has to be projected, it has to be thrown vertically upward at an angle, at a velocity of 11,200 meter per second or meters per second or 11.2 kilometer per second. That is called the escape velocity, right? So as I mentioned in the beginning, so what I am going to do is I will be using simulation to study more about projectile motion. Okay, the simulations, let me show you that. Okay, so here you can see my computer screen. Okay, in my computer screen there is a pillar here, right? This is the pillar here. Okay, okay, so you can see a pillar here and there is a cannon, okay, at the top, okay, and it is oriented at 0 degrees to the horizontal right now. Okay, so I can control different parameters here. For example, I can also introduce air resistance. I can change the height of this column, right? I can change the orientation of the cannon like that. And this simulation is called PhET simulation, P-H-E-T, PhET simulation, right, which was made in University of Colorado Boulder, right? So these simulations are available for free. And these simulations are so nice that you can also run these simulations in your smartphones. Okay, you can play and you learn physics. Learn physics with fun. That's our goal. Learn physics with fun. So today, so of course, I will be using technology. I will be using these online simulations. So what I can do here is, so let me fire the, I have selected here, okay, I have selected here pumpkin, but I can select any object I like from the list. Like there are objects like cannonball, tank shell, golf ball, baseball, football, pumpkin, human, piano, car, right? So I can select any object I like, okay? So let me select a cannonball, for example, right? So I selected cannonball, right, from the drop-down menu, okay? So now let me fire. So let me fire. Please watch. right? So do you see? So what I was explaining, that the cannonball started horizontally. The cannonball started horizontally, right? And afterwards, because of Newton's second law of motion, F equal to ma, there is acceleration vertically downward, which is acceleration due to gravity in this case, right? So it curves downward. There is no horizontal acceleration. There is no acceleration in horizontal direction, right? And so it continuously accelerates downward, and finally it hits the ground. Okay, right? So that is the horizontal case, and I can also change the speed. So let me increase the speed. Previously it was I believe 15 meter per second. Now I am converting this to 21 meter per second. Okay, 21 meter per second. Let me fire again. Okay, see, I increase the velocity of the cannonball. Now the new horizontal distance covered by the cannonball is more. See, you can see this horizontal distance, right, starting from all the way here to there, that is more. And that makes sense because it started off with bigger velocity, right? So let me do even higher velocity, right? So I converted to a maximum velocity of 30 meter per second, right? So let me fire again. Okay, see, it is almost beyond the range, right, of the screen, right? So let me start with a smaller velocity. Let's say 5 meter per second. Okay, so I did with 5 meter per second. So let me fire. Okay, so see, there is a man standing. It almost hit the man. Okay, so all these paths are parabolic paths. These are parabolas. Okay, so now that was the case when we projected the cannonball from a certain height, right? So you can reset. Let me reset it. Okay, I reset. Now, just for fun, let's project a car. Okay, let's project a car. Okay, now I selected a car. Okay, let me fire. Okay, see, the car is now projected, right? And then car also follows the parabolic path. Okay, right? Now one thing you want to do is, okay, so let me change the object. Let me consider like, for example, a baseball. Okay, and then now let me reset. Or there is pumpkin. Let me select pumpkin. Okay, let me select pumpkin, and let me also change the velocity to, let's say, 20 meter per second. Okay, now let me fire. Yeah, so that is the path followed by the pumpkin, right, which is a projectile. Now one thing I can do here, if you are interested, is I can introduce air resistance. Okay, so please think about this. When I introduce air resistance, now the pumpkin, the projectile, will have two forces. It will experience two forces, right? So please think for a couple of seconds, let's say, what kind of path does this pumpkin, the projectile, will follow? Okay, so please think about that. So will it go a bigger distance? Will it go to a smaller distance? Will it follow exactly parabolic path? Will it follow a different kind of path? Please think about these kind of questions. Okay, so probably you got some idea. Okay, so let me fire. Okay, you see, so now you can see that this new path, which is slightly different colored, pinkish in color. Previously it was blue, right? Blue curve. Now this is new curve, right? You can see that. See, the distance covered now is less. Does that make sense? Because when the projectile, in our case pumpkin, is projected, it's thrown horizontally, now it experiences two forces. One is the force in vertical direction, which is of course gravity, and other is against the motion. So see, the pumpkin was thrown that way, and air resistance should be in opposite direction, right? That is nothing but air friction, right? So because of that, it will be retarded in that direction. okay, it will be negatively accelerated by that backward force, right? So it covers a smaller distance. Okay, okay. So now we can do mathematics of this, but before doing mathematics, what I want to do is I would like to change the setting. Okay, I would like to change the setting. 1 second. Okay, so let me change the setting. Now what I would like to do, let me reset this screen, okay, and then convert this flexible or movable pillar to the ground, like this, okay. I move the pillar to the ground, so the cannonball is horizontal, okay, the cannon is horizontal, okay, the cannon is horizontal now, right? So I have already this pumpkin, so this is simply thrown in horizontal direction, right? You can try, right? Let me project, let me throw pumpkin, right? So it moves through a small distance, right, and hits the floor, it hits the ground, right? So what I can do now, this is adjustable, right? So I now change the angle, right? I change the angle, let me do 45 degrees, right? So I adjusted the angle of the cannon orientation, right? That's what I did, okay? Just to see clearly, instead of pumpkin, let me do a bigger object. Let me do, let's say for fun, let me do car, okay? Let me do car, okay? So this cannon is now projecting car, okay? So let's see what happens. So let me fire, okay? See, this is a perfect parabola, right? So this is a projectile motion. So if I introduce air resistance, please watch. Let me introduce air resistance and fire again. So there is not much difference. The reason is car is a big object, right? Car is a big object, right? So it is not experiencing, the air resistance is not affecting very much, okay? It's a heavy object, right? Right? Of course, there is air resistance, but it is not so much, okay? Right? So let's now change the angle. Now let's do reset one more time, and then change this height to ground and change the angle to 45 degrees, okay? And then let's do a different object. Let's do baseball, okay? Let's do baseball, right? And then let's also change the velocity to, let's say, 25 meter per second, okay, 25 meter per second. So now let me project. By the way, I have turned off air resistance. There is no air resistance in this setting. So let me fire. Oh, it is well beyond the screen. So let me change slightly to smaller velocity, 15 meter per second. Let me fire, okay? So what we are projecting is a baseball, okay? Now let's turn on air resistance, okay? Okay, now I have introduced air resistance. So let's watch the motion, okay? See, you can see a significant difference, right? So previously the horizontal distance covered by the baseball was from this point to that point, but now from this point to that point, it has covered smaller path. And this path is parabolic, but not perfect parabola, because we have introduced air resistance. So dealing with air resistance is a kind of difficult mathematically, okay? So now what we can do more, so let me reset, and then turn to the ground, for example, right? And then go to 45 degrees, right? So when I project a projectile, a pumpkin, or for example, let's do something. Let's do cannonball. Okay, I selected cannonball. By the way, this gives all parameters, right? So cannonball has mass 17.8 kilograms, diameter 0.18 meters, right? I haven't introduced air resistance. So what I would like to show you is, right, this simulation also helps us to understand like the velocities and accelerations and their directions. Okay, so what I do is, now I introduce, now I show, I activate, like let's say, the components, velocity components. Please watch the motion very carefully. Let me convert that into slow motion. Okay, I would like to convert this into slow motion so that you can watch clearly. Okay, I converted now to slow motion. So let me fire. Okay, let me fire. So please watch, pay attention to the arrows, right? Do you see those two green arrows? Those green arrows are the velocity components. Okay, so let me refire. So there are two components of the velocity, right? One is vertically up or vertically down or zero. The other one is always horizontal. So let me refire. Okay, vertically up now, vertically up, that is zero, right? So see, the vertical component is maximum in the beginning, right? The vertical component of the velocity is maximum in the beginning, goes down, zero, and now becomes negative. It is directed downward. But the which component doesn't change? The horizontal component. Please watch the length of the arrow, that never changes. Why? Because there is no acceleration in horizontal direction. So whatever the initial velocity is given in horizontal direction, right, the horizontal component doesn't change. What only changes is the vertical component. Why does the vertical component change? Right? We know that because there is acceleration in vertical direction, F equal to ma, right? From Newton's second law, F is the weight of a cannonball, m is the mass of cannonball, right? And acceleration is simply acceleration due to gravity, which is always downward. Okay, let me show you. The acceleration is always downward. Okay, let me activate, let me check in the acceleration vector, right? Acceleration components. Please watch again. Okay, please watch. Right, see, acceleration, that is the downward arrow, that is always downward no matter what. And its length doesn't change. What does that mean? The length of the arrow, acceleration arrow, doesn't change, means acceleration is always constant, which is acceleration due to gravity. It doesn't change. It is constant. Okay, that is z, little z. Okay, so that is, by the way, I have checked in the components of acceleration. Now let me consider the total acceleration as well as components. Now let me fire again. Right? So that is the same thing. Total acceleration and components of acceleration, they are the same thing. Because there is no acceleration in horizontal direction. Let me fire one more time. See, the acceleration due to gravity, which is vertically downward, directed towards the center of the earth, vertically down, right, that doesn't change. Right, and the total acceleration is also the same thing. But the story changes, when you introduce air resistance. Please watch. Okay, whether it works or not, let's see. Right? Okay? Right? There is not significant change. There is a small change, but there is not significant change. Okay? It is a cannonball, which is a heavy object, so that doesn't change much. But there is a small amount. You can clearly see that both objects, in both cases, in those two cases, they are landing at different point. Okay, on the ground, right? So let's try to with a different object, maybe a golf ball, and let's see what happens. Okay, let's explore. Right, you see, right? So it has now significantly changed. Okay, now let's see only the components. Okay, what happens? Let me fire again. Right? So there is not a significant acceleration components in horizontal direction. So that's why it is not showing that here. Okay. So now let's go back to one more time, total velocity and components velocity, and let's turn off the acceleration. Okay. So let me fire again. See, that big arrow, that big bold arrow is the total velocity, and the other two arrows are components of the velocities. Okay, so let's fire one more time and try to understand. Right, so the total velocity is always tangential to the path. Right, there are other two components, x component, that is the horizontal component, and vertical component. Let me reset and see that one more time in a clean way. Okay, so let me do with that, and then 15 meter per second. Okay, and then 35, 45. 1 second. 45. Is that 45? Yeah. Okay, so let me do with pumpkin, right? And then see the velocity vectors, total velocity vectors, and then component velocity vectors. So let me play. See? Right? Let me play one more time. There are three arrows. The bold arrow is the total velocity, and there are two other arrows which are components, right? And the total velocity So what's that? The bold arrow, the length doesn't change, right? But the other two, the vertical component continuously changes, right? Starts from maximum, goes to 0 at the maximum height, and then again, and then after that it reverses and becomes maximum when it hits the ground. Okay? Now let's, out of curiosity, let's orient it vertical, right? Vertical, right? And then project. Okay, project here, fire, right? So it simply goes vertically upward and comes down. So please watch. What is the velocity at the maximum height? Okay, let me fire. Okay, so play. See, the velocity at maximum height is 0, right? While going up, the velocity is upward, it decreases, becomes smaller and smaller, and finally it becomes 0 at the top, and then now reverses and increases continuously. Right? Let's watch the acceleration here. Okay, let's watch the acceleration. Okay, please watch these very carefully. Right? So there are two arrows. Okay, let me check out the velocity. Let me remove the velocity and then watch acceleration. This is very important concept. See, acceleration always remains the same in magnitude. The length of the arrow doesn't change. See, the length of the arrow doesn't change. Right? The length of the arrow doesn't change. What does that mean? The magnitude always remains the same. Right? But the direction changes. Let me correct. The direction, the magnitude as well as the direction, they are always constant in this case. The direction is always vertically down. Okay? See? The direction is always vertically down. That makes sense, no matter what. Whether it is going upward or downward, acceleration due to gravity is always downward. It doesn't change, right? But in case of velocity, it changes, right? So let me make this acceleration active, velocity, and please watch, right? See, the velocity is upward, now the velocity is downward. So the direction of the velocity changes, but the direction of acceleration doesn't change. That is always downward and always the same amount. Okay? Okay? So with that probably I will stop this virtual demonstration here, and then I'll talk about a small amount of mathematics. Okay? So let me do that. So now let's see a small amount of mathematics here. Okay? So I have drawn a picture here, right? So let me show you what they are, right? So I think it's good. So see, this is the original point. That is the starting point of the projectile. That can be a cannonball, that can be a pumpkin, whatever is projected from the cannon. Okay. Right now I have set up two directions. Horizontal is x direction and vertical is y direction. Okay, so I projected the object, right, at some velocity in that direction, and I have called here theta 0 or theta naught, right? So as you saw, two velocities, x component and y component. Since the velocity is a vector quantity, right, you can resolve the velocity along horizontal direction and vertical direction. Right? So do a simple math. So the horizontal component is V0, magnitude of V0 times cosine theta 0. Right? And as you saw in the simulation, this quantity does not change. Why? Because there is no acceleration in the horizontal direction, right? There is equation of kinematics. V's of x final is equal to V's of Ox in the beginning plus acceleration times time, right? Because of that equation, since there is no acceleration in that direction, so this velocity remains same no matter where the projectile remains in this path, right? But the vertical component changes, right? So here the vertical component is this long. When the projectile goes somewhere here, this will be smaller because acceleration is acceleration due to gravity, which is vertically downward. So when you go here, acceleration due to gravity again downward. Everywhere acceleration is acceleration due to gravity, which is always downward. You saw that in simulation, right? So at the maximum height at this point, the velocity in upward direction becomes zero, right? There is only velocity in horizontal direction, right? There is no vertical velocity at that point, right? But acceleration is not zero. Acceleration is still downward, which is acceleration due to gravity. Now, beyond that, what happens? Beyond that, right, because of that acceleration due to gravity, the object now accelerates downward, right? But the horizontal component of the velocity doesn't change. There is no acceleration in that direction, right? So what I am doing is I am trying to apply Newton's second law of motion, F equal to ma. There is acceleration in y direction, which is nothing but negative z. That is acceleration due to gravity. By the way, you need to put the proper sign. Acceleration due to gravity with the coordinate system like this, my y upward is positive, so downward should be negative, right? So using this idea in equation of kinematics, right? There are 4 equations of kinematics. You can analyze the motion. What can you do? You can predict the velocity of the object, right, at maximum height. You can predict the maximum height reached by the projectile. You can find the horizontal range, right? You can do different kind of things. So this is a simple kind of motion, but it is a very, very important and useful motion. For example, if you are in some kind of, let's say, rescue mission, right? So you have to deliver food by airplane. So what do? So you need to have the idea of this. Okay, for example, I will be asking one question to you before I finish the session. So here is a plane flying with a constant velocity in that direction I have shown here. Okay, so a passenger from the plane drops an object vertically downward. I mean, he just releases the object from the window. Okay, now the question is what kind of motion does the passenger in the plane observes? What does he observe? What kind of motion of that object, the packet which he or she dropped from the window, observe? Suppose instead of that, suppose you are on the side here in the ground. So what kind of motion do you observe? Okay, please think about this question. Okay, this is an important conceptual question. Okay, I hope this clarifies somehow the projectile motion. So if you have any question, please write in the comment. I will be also sharing this. I will be also sharing this in YouTube. If you watch later, right, you can also leave comment in there. So we'll see next time. Thank you so much. Bye.